Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about bagels. Delicious bagels, right?
I like bagels.
Yeah. And it's interesting because some people, a bagel is their regular go-to breakfast. And then other people, it's this on occasion, a meal, a treat, or something. So I want to talk about it in the scheme of our nutrition. Where do bagels fall? So of course, if you're eating a bagel from a package, like from the grocery store, like Lenders or whatever, you can read the label and follow our guidelines. We have a couple nutrition nuggets on reading labels, as well as 2 episodes from, I think they were in 2019, all about digging into reading labels. But I know for me, the only time I'm eating a bagel is when it's from a bagel place or a restaurant or a catered meal, which means there is not a label for me to read. So here's what I know. And as you know, we don't count calories, but I want to give it to you guys just for a frame of reference, right? So for a medium plain bagel, which is about 105 grams, like 3.7 ounces, or if you're human like me, it's like living in the real world, it's like a 3.5-inch bagel. Okay, so it's 275 calories, 1.5 grams of total fat, 443 milligrams of sodium, 55 grams of carbohydrates, 9 grams of total sugar, 1.5 grams of fiber, and 11 grams of protein. Now, I live in New York City, and many other places I know, our bagels are not 3.5 inches or 3.7 ounces, right? Like, we have big, decadent, delicious bagels. So those larger bagels are more likely to be around 69 grams of carbohydrates. So yeah, it's a lot. And putting it in perspective, most breads are around 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates per slice. So we're talking like 3 to 4 slices of bread make your bagel.
That's
like
a lot.
Mind blown. It's a lot. So then adding insult to injury, bagels are generally not made with whole or sprouted grains. So even when they're called a whole grain bagel or a whole wheat bagel, it's probably not. And, you know, usually being made with refined or enriched flours means that it's lacking the fiber that we really want when we're eating carbohydrates. So let's say you even opt for that whole grain bagel. Maybe you stop by Dunkin' Donuts to get it. So I went to Dunkin' Donuts to find out what they claim is their nutrition facts. So they say it has 380, this is their whole grain bagel. 380 calories, 8 grams of total fat, 550 milligrams of sodium, 63 grams of carbohydrates, 8 grams of fiber, which I'm a little skeptical of. 8 grams of total sugar, of which 7 grams are added sugar, and 15 grams of protein. I mean, I'm skeptical of some of it, and this goes back to our FDA kind of conversation and what's allowed to be on a food label and how, you know,
First,
all
I'm
these
impressed that you're getting a bagel at Dunkin' Donuts, like, because I don't know that I have that willpower.
I don't. I generally am not a Dunkin' Donuts frequenter.
Yeah.
But I figured this is a good example of like
I like it.
Our bagel, right? So they say that their plain bagel has 4 grams of fiber. Again, I'm not 100% confident, but even if we take that into account, right, and we calculate our net carbs, as you guys know, you can go back to those nutrition nuggets or those episodes about reading labels. So our net carbs for their whole grain bagel is 55. That is a far cry from the single-digit net carb count that we are looking for, right? So those far cry. So those 2 ounces of protein, that 15 grams of protein is about 2 ounces. That is not going to offset the 55 net carbs. right? And given all of this, right, it's basically clear that bagels are high glycemic. They will spike your blood sugar. In fact, their GI rating is 72. And remember, on the glycemic index, 100 is glucose, and your bagel is 72. So, like, we're pretty close to sugar, right? So this is high. And that rating is based on a serving of 50 grams. Flashback, we talked about that medium bagel being over 100 grams. Okay, just putting it all together. Like American bagel, not 50 grams. Then remember, glycemic index is the food itself. Glycemic load is the quantity. So the glycemic load of the bagel is 33. And anything over 20 is high glycemic load, which means that it doesn't take very much of it to spike our blood sugar. So bagels are a case of high glycemic index, high glycemic load, which means even a little bit is likely to spike our blood sugar and put us into that fat storage mode. So how can we include bagels, right? Because everything has a place.
I have a theory.
Yes.
I always just try and get as much cream cheese on it as I can,
right,
to balance everything out. Is that a good strategy?
Totally. There are better ones. Because remember, right, then we go look at the nutrition facts of the cream cheese. Like, not that great, right? As far as like bang for the buck of the nutrition content we're getting, we can do better.
Yep.
So first, let's eat these bagels on occasion. Right. And then sometimes I get the question of like, what's on occasion? Like, if you can count the frequency, that's not on occasion.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Once a month is not on occasion. Once every now and then is on occasion.
Yeah. So that's first. Then consider maybe having half of the bagel. Again, if we're going to balance everything out and try to balance our meal, you might decide like, nope, if I'm going to have it, I'm going to do it. Cool. You do you. But we could also balance out this meal if we maybe have half of it. And then, as we've talked about before, and as you started to talk about the cream cheese, adding protein, fiber, and quality fat helps us blunt the impact of those carbs on our blood sugar. So maybe add a bit of nut butter and some fruit, avocado and egg. Like, again, round it out into a meal that hits all of the nutrition buckets.
Makes sense.
And yeah. And one of the things I notice with breads and the glycemic index is that sourdough, rye, and pumpernickel tend to be medium glycemic versus white or plain or even the 7-grain multigrain whole wheat. Those have so much variation that it's really hard to know what you're getting. So when I get my bagel, I tend to pick pumpernickel because I'm just going to combine two things I know and hope that that works in my favor.
So I can get the sourdough, load up, maybe not cream cheese, some other sort of I'll just put an egg on it. And
right.
Then I'm good.
Right. We probably need a couple eggs.
Okay. Yes. But yeah. Given the carb load. Yes.
Yeah. So all in, guys, just remember, as with everything, bagels can be a part of the plan. The trick is to understand what part and then plan for it so that we can enjoy them while continuing to support our optimal health. Chris, one more time. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jen, for having me. And I learned something about bagels.
Amazing. Checked all the boxes today. As always, guys, I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram at Jenn Trepeck, JennTrepeck. Our Facebook page is at the same handle, and just DM me to submit your questions, ideas, key takeaways. I can't wait to hear your favorite takeaway from today. And that's also the easiest way to reach out to learn more about working with me directly. Of course, if you're not already a member, join the membership program by going to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries to get this week's recipe for the garden vegetable soup. You'll be able to book your one-on-one session with me and the coupon code for $15 off your first order from My Vital C. Friends, remember, understanding the science helps us make the best choices for ourselves and our own journey to wellness. We'll see you next Wednesday. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.